Honorable Men Discord. Lil Nas X arrested in LA. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
So let's get straight to it. Right now I have NBC News with the report about his arrest, and then we'll talk about it further. Let's get into it.
That rapper Lil Nas X has been arrested by police in L.A. early this morning. That's according to the L.A. County Sheriff inmate records. According to law enforcement, a law enforcement authority familiar with the investigation who spoke to NBC News, the rapper punched an officer twice in the face. We should note the LAPD is looking into whether the rapper was under the influence or under mental distress. NBC News has reached out to representatives for Lil Nas X, but we have not heard back yet. It's hard not to laugh.
I'm literally in the process of letting the entire network know what is going on right now, but I can tell you that we do have new reporting. So
Okay.
I just got off the phone with a public informations officer in Los Angeles County, and they have confirmed that Lil Nas X, he is no longer at the hospital after this incident. His real name is Montero Williams, and he has been booked at the Van Nuys jail. He was booked for something called California Penal Code Section 69, and this is resisting or deterring an officer from performing their legal duties. And this adds up to reporting from outlets like TMZ that says that he allegedly punched an officer twice. And we've seen the video of him obtained by TMZ walking in the early hours of this morning in his underwear and a pair of cowboy boots, and that multiple people called the police because of his disturbing behavior. And one of those passerbyers, they got him on video. An incredibly sad situation. Montero Hill, in an incredibly sad situation, because this was somebody, I interviewed him in 2020, a really talented artist who kind of shot to fame overnight with his hit single, and he has really been trying to recapture that fame ever since, and he's had some success, but really never reached the heights of Old Town Road. And this comes after some disturbing Instagram posts over the last couple of days as well that raised some eyebrows.
Okay, Chloe Malas, thank you for that. We appreciate it.
All right, so this next clip is Lil Nas X after he left the hospital. I don't believe he was detained by the police officers, or if he was, this is him after he was freed. So let's get into it.
Your girl is gonna be okay, you all. Okay? She's gonna be alright. She's gonna be alright. Shit. That was fucking terrifying. That was terrifying. That was a terrifying last 4 days. But your girl is gonna be alright.
Moving right along. I'm gonna move right along and then speak about it. So here's I just grabbed someone's opinion on the whole ordeal. I have two opinions from two separate gentlemen from TikTok, excuse me, and then I'm gonna speak about it.
Family, let's talk about this Lil Nas X situation because something ain't adding up. So according to headlines, he's out here wandering around Ventura Boulevard in nothing but cowboy boots and underwear, maybe even fully nude, rapping Nicki Minaj verses at 5 in the morning. Cops roll up, say he's incoherent, maybe even overdosing. Next thing you know, boom, 4 felony counts, 3 counts of battery on a police officer, 1 count of resisting. Now pause. If the man was incoherent, maybe even overdosing, maybe even having a medical emergency, how is he assaulting 3 trained officers? You telling me that a confused artist in boots is out here beating down LAPD like John Wick? Or is this one of those classic cases where resisting really just means that he didn't go down the way that...
So real quick, first of all, I was surprised when I came across this video. This is one of the first videos I came across on TikTok in regard to Lil Nas X being arrested for walking around naked. Now he's speaking on the charges of an assault. First of all, yes, it's possible for the officers to be assaulted. And by no means am I picking sides between Lil Nas X or the officers. Yes, it's possible for officers to be assaulted. If you resist an arrest after commands given and you're swinging your hands, swinging your arms, and it makes contact with a police officer, that's an assault. It does not mean that Lil Nas X was throwing officers around as though he was the Hulk. So I don't know why this guy is speaking as though it's impossible for Lil Nas X to have assaulted the police officers. And again, I'm not here choosing sides, but when I clicked on his video, I didn't think that was the first thing he was going to speak on. But let's continue with what he has to say.
Wanted him to. And notice the inconsistencies. First, he's nude, then he's in underwear, then TMZ drops a video of him strutting in boots. Which one is it?
All right, so when he said that, I thought that was idiotic because this is just an assumption, right? So clearly the images that they're going to show is when he had his underwear on. Now, is it possible that the police officer's body cam shows that he at some point in time started acting even more erratic and he took the underwear off? It's absolutely possible. He was pretty much nude. The only thing he had to take off was his underwear. Now, he mentioned the boots. He in the video was wearing underwear and boots. So I don't understand why he's making it seem as though like the story doesn't match up. It's not adding up. Clearly, they're not going to put out the video of him walking around nude. There's body cam footage. I don't think they're going to just say that to say that. All right? Let me just bring that back real quick.
Which one is it? Why can't they keep the story straight? And why is...
Bring it back more.
They wanted him to. And notice the inconsistencies. First, he's nude, then he's in underwear, then TMZ drops a video of him strutting in boots. Which one is it? Why can't they keep the story straight? And why is TMZ...
So he was definitely in underwear, right? But again, I didn't see any video of the actual interaction between the police officers and Lil Nas X. And it's probably because at that point in time, at some point in time in that interaction when police officers approached him, maybe he acted more outlandish, which I think is a high probability that's exactly how it occurred. But let me continue.
The first to make the ID, not the LAPD. Since when do celebrity gossip blogs serve as official police spokespeople? Here's another layer. Hours before the arrest, he did wipe his Instagram and he dropped random song snippets. Same boot, same vibe. Could have been a promo, could have been him spiraling. But then suddenly he's arrested and hospitalized. Days later, he's on IG saying he lost control of the...
Hold on. All right. I'm going to touch on this now.
And he dropped random song snippets. Same boot, same vibe. Could have been a promo, could have...
All right. Could have been a promo. Listen, if it's a promo, why are we making promos like that? And by all means, please jump in the comments if you think it's okay to make promos like this. Is this where we're going right now in 2025, preparing for 2026? Are we that desperate for attention for new projects that we're in the streets at 5 o'clock in the morning with underwear and cowboy boots? Is that what we're doing? Is this acceptable? Is this acceptable? I don't know why I'm struggling to say that word. Is this acceptable? That's my question to everyone watching. Because we're in a world where everything goes. Everything goes. And everyone stays silent whilst everything goes. There's only a few people speaking on it. Some don't speak on it because of fear. They, oh, what if my job finds out that I said something that is against the populace? And I get it. I know people that's their reason for staying silent. But this is why we're discussing trending topics, all right? We're not pulling situations out of thin air and speaking on people trying to tear them down. We're speaking about this particular trending topic that made it to the news and made it to blogging sites, right? Social media, gossip columns, so on and so forth. My question is that acceptable if it was in fact done for promo for a record, for new music, 5 o'clock in the morning? Because what surprised me most about when I came across this gentleman's page, I didn't think this was the angle he was going to go in. I thought he was going to look at it as like, what is going on with this guy? Meaning Lil Nas X. If it's a mental breakdown, I hope he gets the help that he needs. If it's a mental breakdown. If he was completely sober and thought this was a good idea to do this, what's going on? I'm not here to tear him down, because if it was a mental breakdown, you know, I understand. There's a lot of people that have mental breakdowns. If it was influenced by drugs, then I would understand that, because drugs can make people do a lot of crazy things. I've seen it a lot here in New York. But if he wasn't under the influence, and if it wasn't a mental breakdown, what exactly are you doing? But let me let him continue.
But then suddenly he's arrested and hospitalized. Days later, he's on IG saying he lost control of the right side of his face. Now that sounds like Bell's palsy, a stroke, or some kind of neurological episode, not a crime spree. So let me ask y'all, was this really a violent felony? Or was this a black artist having a medical breakdown in public who got tackled by the cops that didn't know the difference between a patient and a perp, because stacking felonies is the oldest trick in the book to...
Now, that part I'm going to agree with him. There's a lot of law enforcement across the states that aren't equipped to deal with people with mental health issues. That is a fact. That is not something that is an assumption or just an opinion. That is a fact. So that's always a possibility also, that they didn't understand, or they weren't trained to deal with someone, especially someone who's a celebrity, that is going through some type of health condition. So that's a possibility. I'm not going to negate that as a possibility, as not being a possibility. So that is a possibility. I agree with him on that. All right, but it just seems like he's just all the way one-sided in defense of Lil Nas X, and I can't be. I need more information to completely be on his side as far as justifying him being out there 5 o'clock in the morning. Because where is his? Who does he stay with? Who's his family? I mean, I know he's successful. Maybe he has his own place and he decided to drive somewhere, get out the car, and just walk the streets. I don't know. I don't know how far the location is from his place of residence. I don't know. The whole situation, I do agree with him saying the whole situation is odd. It's not making sense. But again, the reason why it's possible that the officers were assaulted is because they're not showing that, because at that point in time, maybe Lil Nas X exposed himself, and they're not going to show the body cam footage of him exposing himself, aside from the fact that he's a celebrity. Let me let him continue.
When forces go too far. And don't forget, LAPD has a long history of turning medical emergencies into criminal records. What better way to bury the truth than to slap them with 4 felonies and let TMZ distract with cowboy boots and shock headlines? At the end of the day, I don't know all the details, but...
That's a possibility also. It's a possibility. I don't put... Listen, nothing surprises me in this world anymore. So that's a possibility. I can agree with him on that.
The story they're selling us don't line up. And if it doesn't make sense, it usually means somebody's hiding the real story. Family, let's talk about...
Regardless of the fact, Lil Nas X is well off, and his lawyers will be able to defend him accordingly if there is a lie within this whole assault charges, you know. So he has nothing to worry about, because they have to prove that they were assaulted at the end of the day, which means they're gonna have to show the body cam footage, which again, the reason why that hasn't been made public is I'm pretty sure there's a more than a 50% chance he was exposing himself at that point in time, which is why they haven't shown that. Now, although this guy is siding with Lil Nas X, if they end up eventually showing the body cam footage and they blur out where Lil Nas X was exposing himself, I'm sure this guy's gonna pop back up. At least he should pop back up and say, I was wrong. He actually did swing on the police officers, you know. Now again, assault doesn't mean the officers were beaten down to a pulp. Just means that you're resisting and you're actually attacking them or causing bodily harm. You could strike their face and things of that nature. So that would be an assault. Let me go into this last clip that I have up.
And God ain't pleased Lil Nas X. Now, I would never talk about a man while he's down. I feel sorry for the man. But I would say this, I ain't playing with the devil. A lot of people saying this is why this is happening to him, because he played with the devil too much. You remember? He had the Satan shoes. Jumped from the heavenly gates on the stripper pole all the way down to the pits of hell and gave the devil a lap dance. He gave Satan a lap dance. I'm not saying this is why this is happening. I won't make that judgment. It's not for me to judge him like that. I'm just telling you what I'm not going to do is play with the devil. I'm not eating devil eggs again.
Yeah, he's just being funny. Listen, even though he's being funny, I agree. Don't play with the devil, but to each his own. One thing I have to go back to, I'm not even going to play the rest of what he has to say because he's just doing comedy right now. I'm trying to be serious on this episode for right now. One thing I question is, why is Lil Nas X referring to himself as if he's a girl?
Your girl is gonna be okay, or okay? She's gonna be all right.
I need to find out more information on this. If he's having a mental health breakdown, I'm not going to lean in on this. All right? If he's having a mental health breakdown, I'm not going to lean into this because I don't know if this is the norm for him. I don't follow him. I don't go to his page. Hopefully he gets the help he needs because he clearly needs help. And if anyone in the comments says he doesn't need help, please explain to me why. In everything that you've seen, the little clip of him walking in the street and what he just said now, referring to himself as a female, please let me know how you don't think that he needs help. All right? I'm leaving this here and moving on. But as always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care and stay honorable.